Hello and welcome to my channel. Are you interested in the world of cryptocurrencies and knowing how to predict the future of Solana and cryptocurrencies alike? If so, you're in the right place. By the end of today's video, you're going to get a complete understanding on what Solana is likely to do, whether you should be buying, selling, or holding longer term. So let's dive straight into Solana with some TA, which means technical analysis. All right, so when we're looking at Solana over here on the chart pattern, what we have straight away is a sell signal. And if you've been watching my content for the last while, we made a lot of money on Solana on this phase of the market because it was relatively predictable that this was going to occur. But what we want to know is what's likely to occur over the next few days and weeks. Well, first off, there's something called an overbalance of price. It's when the price to the downside is bigger than any other former move to the downside in the sequence. Tells us that the reversal is probably likely to hold. And that's where I use something called Elliott Wave theory. And I'm just going to bring it up on the chart over here where you can see it clearly. What we call this is a wave 5 of wave 5. Right? So Solana, we've got this particular count. It's called the end of a trend wave count, wave 5 of a wave 5. And again, we had this bearish signal over here, which means sell. We made some good money over here. But right now, you may have seen it at the beginning, Solana is actually likely to be moving sideways to up. However, because this movement to the downside was so aggressive and so impulsive, is likely we're eventually mid next week probably going to get a follow through to the downside. And we're going to break this down in a bit of detail today. And by the way, did you watch my video yesterday on Litecoin, or was it the day before? And did you make some good money and good profits? Because we did. And it was this part of the market where we knew Litecoin was very likely to have a nice final leg down before also doing something similar to Solana is likely to do. And this is what actually happened with Litecoin. We had a nice movement to the downside. We took our profits, and now the market is moving sideways to up. And one of the key indicators of this whole thing is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is really powerful of knowing what is likely to do. And if you downloaded my free report with Bitcoin, what you would have seen a few days ago is we said we're very likely to see one more leg to the downside. And we posted this on the 24th of February. And exactly what has happened with Bitcoin? Well, it's done exactly that, right? It's moved nicely to the downside, which we were anticipating. But with Bitcoin as well, like with Solana, anticipate some sideways to up movement, but we're likely to get a follow through to the downside. So if you want to get the latest updates and be part of a similar community to yourself with like-minded individuals, sign up to my free membership area, Bitcoin Report. We do a weekly video update, and it's really when there's key information, and it allows us to stay really close to the market and see what's likely to happen so we can maximize our profits. So sign up, fill out the details, and it's yours for free, instant access. So what I want to focus on now with Solana is some of the details. So I'm just going to pull up a couple of the indicators that I use. So it's something called stochastics RSI, and it measures momentum and rate of change. And I've created some tools that I use that's really powerful. It's these buy and sell signals, which is really from this. It's basically when the higher degree time frame, it means like the bigger chart, the bigger time frame chart, which we call a weekly chart, and the daily are pointing in the same direction, which is what was happening here. We want to trade in that direction. But now, like right now, as of today, we've had something called a bullish reversal on the momentum, which we do not want to ignore. We want to really pay attention to this because it tells us, it's also shown with this green arrow, tells us that the short-term intermediate momentum is up. So what should we anticipate? Well, markets tend to move in 5s and 3s. And the faster you can get that into your mind of buying and selling psychology, the more money you're going to make. And this looks quite impulsive. We can go into a bit of detail. In fact, let's go into a bit of detail because I've got this on my 1 hour chart. If I just pull this up on a 1 hour chart, I've drawn it out for you where it looks like, yet to be confirmed, but it looks like, if we look at this clearly, if I just make it a bit clearer for you, a 5-wave move. That's what I'm seeing right now with Solana. We made some really good profits with this. It's a really good trade. We went short around here, had a stop loss over here. We made around 5-6% on the market in around 3 days, right? So that was really good money. We've taken our profits. We've exited down here. Why did I exit? Well, it's because I'm anticipating we're at the end of a local trend. The blue line is a local trend. The lower degree like micro trend. And after a 5-wave move in the blue, what should we anticipate? Now, it doesn't mean it's confirmed. I've got a question mark down here because it hasn't been confirmed yet. But what I will anticipate is some type of 3-wave correction. Now, we can really get precise with this because one of the most powerful things is Elliott Wave and Fibonacci ratios. And I want to show you this because it is incredible on how accurate you can get with this. So let's just stick with the daily chart. And what I'm going to do here is I want to focus, really focus on what I'm waiting for and what I suggest you should also be aware of. Now, just remember, when it comes to trading, you are the casino, and the casino never knows what the outcome is going to be when gamblers are gambling, but they do know that they have the edge in their favor. They have a statistical edge, and long term, they know they're going to win. They have a higher probability of winning each and every game, and eventually the house always wins. Your job is to do the same, and when you can know that momentum, pattern, and price coincide, the forces are so strong, more often than not, the trend will move in that direction. So I'm going to now translate that, hopefully, into English. But before I do, I just want to do a quick bit of analysis here. I'm going to do something called time analysis. I'm just going to break this down for you in a second because we're going to look at what I'm waiting for the next few days. I'm literally waiting for this. And I'm going to do some price analysis. I'm not going to break it down into too much detail today. However, when you download the free Bitcoin report, what you'll have, by the way, just so you know, is on the left-hand side, you'll see it says Elliott Wave Basics and Fibonacci Basics. I'll give you some free training on just how you can really understand Elliott Wave theory and Fibonacci price action, some of the stuff that we're going to use today, and it will just make perfect sense to you. So what we have is something called a price and time zone. And the dates are, let's see what the dates are, 27th, so it's Monday 27th to Tuesday 28th. It might take a bit longer. The typical maximum time is this ratio here, is 100. That's a bit advanced, but don't worry about that. It's really focused on the pink box. So we're talking about maybe the 2nd of March. 2nd of March, we're looking at sideways to up. Now, should you use just one thing to identify trends and trade? I don't believe so. You should use 2, ideally 3, and possibly even 4. So what we're going to do now, we're going to combine something called Elliott Wave theory and momentum. Right, just 2. We'll keep it quite simple. Oh, we'll use Fibonacci price. So we got 3. Right, we want 3 to coincide. And when 3 coincide, it's just a higher probability of that thing happening. So what I anticipate, and it might be clearer on a lower degree time frame, like an hourly chart, is we're going to get some type of 3-wave move to the upside. I would like to then see the momentum to be overbought, because you see the last time the blue line crossed below the red, it formed this high. And what did the price do? It moved sideways to down, right? So what I'm waiting for now, next, we've made some good money on this week, is I'm going to wait for the blue to cross below the red, or at least be in this zone as a minimum. Ideally have an A, B, C correction in this price and time zone. And then I want to look for short trade opportunities. Short trades mean making money as the market moves down. So what is Solana likely to do? And let's just summarize this, because so you can get a take. Because I know some people are trading Solana and others are just holding, looking for a longer term buy and hold strategy. So the easiest way for me just to kind of give you this insight is if I just show you this part here. I'm just going to just clean this up over here, and I just want to get this into the chart so I can really articulate this so you can have it in layman's terms of what's highly probable. Short term, medium term, that's what we're going to focus on, because that's where you really make the money. Short term, medium term when you're trading. So absolute short term is some type of sideways to up movement as the momentum reaches this zone over here. So we're talking about sideways to up into this zone over here. But then we're anticipating a second leg to the downside. A leg like this. This is what I mean by a leg, this movement to the downside. That was the first leg. Just call that 1. And the second impulsive leg to the downside. So this is a corrective upward movement. And what I'm being patient for is the second leg. Second leg to go into this time and price zone, right? So the intermediate or even a micro trend, the immediate trend is sideways to up. Then the more bigger trend, the bigger wave, so to speak, is sideways to down. And we don't need to go any further than that right now because that's where the money's at. The money's at what's going to happen in the next 3 to 5 days and then what's going to happen in the next 2 to 6 weeks. And that's what we're really, really focused on. Hopefully that makes some sense. That makes hopefully enough sense. I want to just show you one more thing, and then we'll wrap up for the day. It's going to be, I'm just going to pull it up on an hourly chart again. I just want to break something down for you, and you can get really precise on this. Now, I'm going to do some forecasting, right? But don't worry about the forecasting. What I'm looking for, I'm going to show you exactly what I'm looking for. And if you spot this, you can make a lot of money from the markets. So we've got some type of move up. We'll probably get some type of move down. It'll probably be in 3 waves. That's the most common. And then we're going to get another leg up, more than likely. That's what I'm anticipating. That's the high probability outcome. And it will look like this, right? But what I want you to be aware of is that this last move to the upside would more often than not break down into some type of 5-wave structure, right? And that's what I want to be aware of. High alert of this point over here. Because what I will then do is one of 2 things. It depends on a few factors. Is I will either look for a shorting opportunity below here, put in an order over here to go short, and then a stop loss above here. Or if the momentums are not quite as perfect as I would like them to be, to get a bit of extra confidence, what I'll do is I would wait for the market to prove itself, to say, take out this low. I'm not going to short. I'm going to wait for you to take out this low. It's called a pattern reversal signal. And then I'm going to wait for the first pullback. And then this is a safer time to go short. And then last caveat, and then we'll finish, is this is valid, what I've said here is valid unless this high gets exceeded, which is always possible. Now remember, we are going with the trends, but there's millions of participants in crowd psychology. So even though it's the high probable outcome, even when you've got a high probability hand in the game of blackjack, it doesn't mean you're going to beat the dealer. Like you can have a 20 and the dealer can pull out a 21. So even though it's highly probable, it's not guaranteed. So what I mean by that, we always want to have that caveat in mind where if the market, and it can happen, and it does happen, shoots above this area, it's unlikely because the weekly momentum is down. On the next bearish reversal, if this high has not been exceeded, then it's even less probable. But if it does, we just need to reevaluate because there are a few other outcomes. But the high probability outcome, which is always what we want to lean on, is some type of movement here. If this high doesn't get exceeded, if the momentum becomes overbought and bearish, then anticipate the next leg to the downside. So make sure you're taking advantage of the free Bitcoin membership area. It's phenomenal. I literally work really hard on this. This is what I use. But you're also going to be part of a community of like-minded individuals that are looking for similar things as you. And that I found over the last decade of trading is a really, really powerful resource. So I'm going to finish with a quote, and it's one of my favorites. The trend is your friend. Ride it until its end, until it reaches its bend. Now the trend with Solana is down. So the micro trend where we made some good profits came to a local end, and it did reach a bend. And we now want to wait for the next part of the trend to continue. And we want to ride that to the end, and then just keep rinsing and repeating with whatever market that you're looking at. So enjoy the report. I look forward to seeing you in one of my live workshops. See you soon.